Hi guys, it's great to see you again. I'm Miss Joli and I'll be your visual artist for this lesson. March is Women's History Month, and today we're going to talk about the famous contemporary female artist, Faith Ringgold. Our artwork this week will be inspired by her story quilts. The materials we're going to be using today is a piece of paper, of course, pencil and eraser, cup of crayons, and if desired, a ruler or flat edge, straight edge. Faith's story started in the 1930s in New York City during the end of the Harlem Renaissance, when African American painters, musicians, and writers were turning their stories into great art. For the first time, Black people were comfortable about showing their own image. As a child, she suffered from severe asthma and stayed home a lot with her mother. Her mom was a fashion designer and showed her how to work with crayons, fabric, and even sewing. Her great-great-great-grandma was a slave who made quilts for her master and taught Faith how to make quilts. There was a strong tradition of African American quilt making. It was influenced by weaving, originally done by men in Africa. The skill transferred to women when they were brought to America as slaves. The quilt served many purposes. They provided warmth, preserved memories, and even told stories. So they served as message boards for the Underground Railroad, which guided slaves on their way north to freedom. In college, she learned to paint in the century-old European styles like Cézanne, Rembrandt, Picasso, Matisse, Monet. But she was inspired by the artists in Harlem. She turned to her African roots for inspiration because she loved the colorful patterns and rhythms and repetition of African textiles. So with this, she created her works from her experience, combining European composition with her ancestral African roots of quilt making. The other artists were not talking about what was happening at the time, but she wanted to. If you ask Faith Ringgold what her story as an artist is, she would say, "I am a Black and I am a woman." Ringgold wanted to tell stories. As she made quilts in the tradition of her ancestors, she then added words to create a new art form, the story quilt. She told stories about heroes in African American history. In her lifetime as an artist, she made paintings, sculptures, quilts, children's books. You can even find her art in the New York City subway. 125 Street in Harlem is where she pays tribute to the famous neighbors who gave her confidence to get her life and her own art off the ground. Ringgold became an artist so she could tell her story. When anybody says you can't do something, do more of it. Accelerate. That is the way you get it done. Her career has been dedicated to activism and fighting racial and gender inequality. She says it is a violation of your freedom of speech when strangers try and tell you what your story is. She also says it's very important to have a title with the works of art. Some people buy them because they're impressed with the title. Nobody had air conditioning in Harlem in the summer, which led to her story quilt, Tar Beach. She also told personal stories about the hot summer nights growing up near George Washington Bridge. Tar Beach is the story of her childhood in Harlem, where her family would eat and play cards on the roof on a hot summer evening. She later wrote and illustrated the book to go with this quilt. Notice the pieces of material used along the artwork. Sometimes quilts are made from old clothes no one wears anymore. So think about recycle. And recycling. I will always remember when the stars fell down around me and lifted me up above the George Washington Bridge. I could see our tiny rooftop with Mommy and Daddy and Mr. and Mrs. Honey, our next-door neighbors, still playing cards as if nothing was going on. Me and BB, my baby brother, lying real still on the mattress, just like I told him to, his eyes like huge floodlights tracking me through the sky. Sleeping on Tar Beach was magical. Lying on the roof in the night with the stars and the skyscraper buildings all around me made me feel much rich, like I owned all that I could see. The bridge was my most prized possession. Daddy said the George Washington Bridge is the longest and most beautiful bridge in the world, and that it opened in 1931, on the very date I was born. Daddy worked on the bridge, hoisting cables. Since then, I've wanted that bridge to be mine. Now I have claimed it. All I had to do was fly over it for it to be mine forever. I can wear it like a giant diamond necklace. Or just fly above it and marvel at its sparkling beauty. I can fly, yes, fly. Me, Casey Louise Lightfoot, only 8 years old and in the 3rd grade, and I can fly. That means I'm free to go wherever I want to for the rest of my life. Daddy took me to see the new Union building he is working on. He can walk on steel girders high up in the sky and not fall. They call him the cat. But still, he can't join the union because Grandpa wasn't a member. Well, Daddy's going to own that building because I'm going to fly over it and give it to him. Then it won't matter that he's not in their old union or whether he's colored or a half-breed Indian like they say. He'll be rich and won't have to stand on 24-story high girders and look down. He can look at his building going up. And Mommy won't cry all winter when he goes to look for work and doesn't come home. And Mommy can laugh and sleep late like Mrs. Honey. And we can have ice cream every night for dessert. I'm going to fly over the ice cream factory just to make sure we do. Tonight we're going up to Tar Beach. Mommy is roasting peanuts and frying chicken, and Daddy will bring home a watermelon. Mr. and Mrs. Honey will bring beer and their old green card table. And then the stars will fall around me, and I will fly to the Union building. I'll take BB with me. He has threatened to tell Mommy and Daddy if I leave him behind. I have told him it's very easy. Anyone can fly. All you need is somewheres to go that you can't get to any other way. The next thing you know, you're flying among the stars. So we're working on Faith Ringgold's story quilt, one for us. You have your pencil and your eraser and a straight edge. You could use a ruler. Again, I'm not going to be using the pencil because you won't be able to see it as well. If I use the marker, you'll be able to see it better. This is what I would do first of all, is we're going to make the outside of our quilt. Go ahead and slide your ruler to the edge of the paper. We're going to use that straight edge. And oh, this one's got something on it. Don't forget to put your name on it with your pencil. Slide that ruler to the edge of your paper. And we're going to go ahead and start from one side to the other with your pencil, all the way across. All the way across. See my line? All right. Actually, we need to do that all the way around, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Do it all the way around. slide it all the way around. This actually comes out better if I do it horizontally instead of vertically. So I'll do that again. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and, this is my artwork. This is what I'm going to be using. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up again one more time. Think of it, it's approximately about an inch, but it doesn't have to be. And if yours don't come out the exact same, it's no problem. You have all different size sections on quilts on the material. And remember, you can making quilts is fabulous. If you're really making quilts, you try to save old scraps of material and old outfits that you wore maybe when you were a baby, and you can make a quilt for you out of that. This one I'm going to leave blank, and I'm not going to do anything with this one on purpose. This is going to be where I'm going to write my little story or something that's going to pertain to my little story. But all the extra ends, I'm going to go ahead. If you want to use some rectangles on there, go ahead. Use some rectangles. I'm going to go ahead and put mine as little squares. I'm going to go ahead and do both sides at the same time. I'm going to leave off the middle. I'm going to jump up again, slide it. Now, like I said, you can use some rectangles. I could do some rectangles. My other one was kind of like this. Now, I'm going to go in between and do this, like for this one. There we go. Now, I'm going to do the same thing up and down. Maybe I'll stick it from this side. It may come out a little different. I'll leave my bigger one in the middle. Yeah, I'll do one more on each side. There we go. That part, and that won't take long. See, my middle one is a little bigger. Now, what you can do is you can pick a few of these to possibly turn into triangles or rectangles, or to turn into triangles. We're going to take out, like, it could be a rectangle. You could make a little type of triangle or a square. I'm going to turn this one this way, just because I like to do the pattern. I'm going to do the same thing at the top ones. You don't have to do the same one. In fact, it looks really cool when you alternate them or skip some. When I go to coloring them, I might do 3 squares the exact same, but I won't put them close together. And let's see, I'm going to do one. This, like I said, this one's a rectangle. Watch what happens to these triangles. These triangles will look a little different, but then I'm going to go ahead and do more than one. I'm going to do 2 of them on there. See how it looks cool? I have 4 little triangles. That's just a difference. In quilting patterns, you do have a lot of triangles and rectangles and squares. There we go. So I'm ready to start my artwork. This is going to, remember this little blank here, we're going to go ahead and leave. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be taking our little pieces, and we're going to color up each one differently. I did a whole bunch of circles here, and I colored over it afterwards. See, I did a whole bunch of brown circles and I colored peach over it. You can change your color. Don't worry about mine and my idea. If you like the idea, fine. If not, just think about it. What shapes do you know? Look, a square, and then I moved it over and did another square. It looks like a pattern we see on clothes. And I went ahead, see how I didn't put them close together? I moved them around. See, on this one, I have them far away from each other. I have one that's kind of blue. It has white dots in it. You can't quite see it, but it is spread out. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to be coloring them up. So after you have all of your little edges, we're going to come back to coloring them. We're going to go ahead and do our story right here in the middle first, and then we'll come around and color it up. So here's my artwork here. So here's my artwork, and I grabbed another little sheet of paper. This is what, if you have a problem drawing it across this way, what I would do, you're going to draw yourself flying in a minute. I would turn your paper a little bit this way and draw yourself, and then you'd be flying across. So here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about a happy childhood memory. Something you did outdoors, outside, because we don't want to fly in the house and fly into something, okay? So think about being outside, and what basic shapes will you see when you're there? So look, see, this is about the size I would have in here, right? This is about the size of my little paper. What I would turn it sideways and I'd draw on it for you. So let's see. If you draw a stick person, it's totally fine. What shape we would do for the head? Totally fine. And then look, here's the body, right? Here's your legs. Now, of course, if you have some long legs or skinny legs. And let's see, we'd have the arms. I'm going to bring the arms out here because they were flying outwards. Okay, maybe one arm's falling this way. I might be sideways here. I'd draw like a little line for my little eyes. Ooh, I look like I'm kind of angry. How about if I make me funny? There we go. And what you put on your person's going to help. Like, think about it. If it's a skirt, you'd go ahead and put a triangle, right? And then you can put a rectangle, that'd be closed, right? And then you can put another for the arm, kind of like another little rectangle out for the arm. And when you color it up, it won't be a stick person. I draw a little line on each side of the leg, and then that could be your legs. Don't forget you have some shoes, or if you're barefoot, I'm gonna put one leg here, another little rectangle, and another little leg here. Looks like little booties. Like I said, for the arms, you could put an arm on each side, or just put little fingers out like that. That'll work. Maybe I have one arm out this way, so might be reaching that way. Don't forget your hair. Okay, and then add your neckline. Okay, that will work. If you have pants on, you could have shorts. See, that's an easy way to draw shorts. Or if you want long pants, if you're looking at it from the side, maybe have an arm here and my arm's coming out this way, right? And this is my head, and maybe I'm looking at my side view here. Okay, here's my neck. Look, your pants, if you're looking from the side, it may look just like what? Rectangles. That could be one long pants leg, another long pants leg, and look, here's my boots, my shoes. You could be flying that way. Don't forget, put your arm, little space in between on each side. So don't worry about however it ends up looking. They come out awesome. Okay, so this is what I would do. Just go ahead and draw yourself. Okay, like I said, sometimes it might be kind of difficult sideways. I have my two arms. And come out. My little rectangle comes here. I'm going to go ahead and put me a skirt on. Then I can put my legs. Maybe my skirt is really long, so there we go. There's my little boot, my little shoes. I have some shoes that almost look like boots. Fingers. Again on this side. So I want you to think about, and don't forget to put hair on you. And you can color up if you want the hair. Maybe I'm facing downward and I'm flying downward. Big smile on my face because I'm flying. I can fly anywhere. Think about where it is that you would like to go. What could you fly over? Think about what the place could be. What kind of shapes could you have? Usually a rooftop might be triangle. It's possible. Or a rectangle or square. You can put the doors in a rectangle or an arched look. Or you could do two. You could put a rectangle with a little half circle on top of it. And don't forget your windows. Now, when it's easy, if you're drawing a tree, you can do trees that look like this. This was a really tall tree, huh? That could be a tree. Or, well, I love to make my trees. So when I'm drawing it, or when I'm coloring it, a lot of times I don't even put my tree in with the marker. I'll just go ahead and, well, first of all, I have a little brown sticking up, and then here comes my tree. Almost like a little zigzag on each side, and then one then going forward. See, there's my little trees. See my trees? See my little trees? I could put another tree. This is kind of supposed to be in the distance, kind of. I just kind of threw it together for us. But you see how I have just my little hands sticking out? If you just draw a little line, that'll work for your fingers. Since it's going to be so small, and excuse me, your crayon won't give good fingers very well. One line will work for it. All right, so I'm going to leave this on the side so you can see while I go ahead and color up. So here I have my story that's going to happen. This could be in the woods, but for your story, this is my story. Don't follow the exact same thing I'm doing. I want you to think about what happened in your childhood, something that you would love to relive over and over again. Or if you could fly, where would you go? Where would you go? Who would be with you? Your family, your friends? What's the weather like? Is it going to be cloudy, rainy, snowy? Okay. Are there going to be buildings? Or is it going to be woods? Do you have roads in there? Do you have pets? Like if I put a little road, this could be my, oops, I broke my crayon. This could be my little road that comes here. It doesn't have to be in yellow. I could have picked any color. All right. Like I said, what kind of shapes would you see? You can put more than one person flying. When you go to coloring, you want to go ahead and think, see, I can reuse the purple. I have the purple here, I have a purple here, I have a purple here, I have a purple here. I ended up, I had 4 in my last one. That was actually my last color I used. But try to pick 3, do 3 of the squares or the rectangles, unless you did really big rectangles, and you don't need, you could just do like maybe 1 color. One of that particular color. Okay, think about the material you have. Do you have stripes? Could it have circles? Could it have shapes on it? See, I have something with flowers on it, or circles, rectangles and squares, triangles. I could have done triangle like this one here with triangles and triangles and triangles. I could have done triangles all over it. All right. See, I want to show you what I'm doing. This is like a little amusement park. And we had a castle, and they had like a little tent where they could have had maybe even circus acts. Okay, I like to go on family vacations. This is what mine was. So you're going to be putting your story here. I put on mine, family time is my favorite time. I just love going on vacation with my family. All right, you think about what you want to put on yours and draw it up and color it up. Let's see, maybe I could put some mountains in my picture. Out here, maybe there's more mountains, okay? That's in maybe in the distance. There's more in the distance. And enjoy spending time with you on these projects. I would love to hear about your activities and what y'all have been creating. Ooh, don't forget my clothes. I did red on my other one. I'm going to go ahead and do red on this one. Just because it was the same project. Now maybe my skirt's a darker red and my shirt's a lighter red. And it doesn't matter if you go outside the lines when you come over with your other color. It'll cover over. Maybe I can have sunshine in this one. This one will be a sunshiny day. Sunshine in the distance. It's going to be my sunshine. Now remember, you can do trees that might be a circle around it with a line. You can do trees like a triangle. Okay, you can do all kinds of trees. You can do trees with more than one circle added. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did this particular piece here. What I do is I go ahead and I do the shape that I want. And I did two squares, a square touching another square, and I do another one, a square up here, and there's another one that's coming out from underneath it. And I do a square here, and then all I do is I color lightly the other color on top of it. This one might not show it. And then I take my other color and I lightly color over it. You see how it shows through? The white, if you color too hard, it won't show as well. The yellow does. The lighter colors, like maybe a peachy color, would work. And then sometimes I will turn it sideways to do it this way. I've really enjoyed working with you today. Take a moment and look at your artwork. Turn and look at your neighbor's artwork. Notice the similarities and the differences between the two. Thanks for joining me today. We learned so many things. We discussed that March is Women's History Month, and we looked at Faith Ringgold's story quilts. And this week we were inspired by her quilts to make our own. As you go through your week, notice all the activities that you do in everyday life that you could create an artwork about. Enjoy the rest of your day. I can't wait to see you. Till next time.